Yo, Still Mills, what's the deal, man? Yo, peep motherfucking gang, man. Y'all know what day it is. It's our favorite day of the week. Flashback Fridays, and just Friday in general, man. We shutting the week down, last day of work or whatever, man. But we got to talk about this shit, man. For Flashback Fridays, today we gonna go over the Lennox Lewis versus Evander Holyfield undisputed title match. What, nigga? Ain't no trying to fuck out of here. Cutting in front of you, nigga. The first one. Man, there's not even really much to say about this fight besides it was one of the most egregious fucking decisions anybody could. This might be the most disgusting. Oh my God! It was just past ridiculous how bad of a judgment they did on this fight, man. Holyfield got dominated, man. Like Holyfield got dominated, man. I personally scored it 10 rounds to 2. He rallied in the the third round. I gave him that round, and I forget one of the later rounds I gave him where he had, he rallied. And you can argue that he won another round when Lennox Lewis kind of got lazy with the jab. It was kind of baiting him in. It was like what? Like you just gonna sit there and just play possum? And as he's baiting him and chastising him, he got a left hook off, and a right hand off of it. That was about it. Like at the very most, there's no way you could argue that he won more than 3 rounds in that fight. There's no way in hell you can argue that. No way. He got dominated, man. Like Lennox Lewis's jab, and it wasn't even like a head snapping jab, man. It was a real pawing jab. It was accurate. It was an irritant. It was a rangefinder. It was everything it needed to be. It wasn't even like he was popping the dude's head off with it. It was just there. It was present. It was active. It was just pumping. It was in his face, and he could not work his way around it to save his life. And you seen him trying to get around it, man. But Lewis is so damn heavy-handed that you don't want to run the risk of walking into anything unnecessary. And that's what it would have been. He'd have been walking into unnecessary shit. Because I mean, like even when he would, he would rally up and take that step in, he would do work. He would do good work when he would get on the inside, when he would decide to get on the inside. But Lennox Lewis was standing in the pocket and banging with him and clipping him to the body. He would get trapped on the ropes. He would, just whatever shot Lennox wanted to land, he would land it. Holyfield had no answer for Lewis. None. He had no answer for that man. No answer whatsoever, man. Like, this is why I say, a fighter like Mike Tyson in his prime, with fast feet and real elusive head movement. That's why I like his chances against any heavyweight in history. Now, Tyson's prime was a really short prime, but nonetheless, I mean, the eyes don't lie. You know what I'm saying? The eyes most definitely don't lie. And he had beat some really good fighters. He just lost when he really stepped up in competition. Do the other shit, but you gotta to be able to deal with Lennox Lewis. You're gonna have to find a way around his jab. And Tyson in his prime had that. He had the entry route. He had the point of breach in his arsenal. He just couldn't stay disciplined in the gym to prove it. So it was just, Holyfield isn't like graceful on his feet like that. That's not his game. That's not his game. He's not really the most elusive fighter neither, man. He's there to be hit. He's in your face. He loves to bang. He's real savvy in the clinch. And that's another thing that Holyfield was doing in that fight when they would get to, like, he would like I seen him employing the same tactics that Vladimir would use in his fights. He jab 1-2 and then wrap him up. so you know he can't get his shot off, and force the ref to break him up and reset. He used that strategy to his advantage in that fight, man. He really did. And he punished Lennox Lewis. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. Like he tormented that dude. Now it wasn't torment to the degree of which, oh man, Lewis is just like he's about to knock him out or nothing. It wasn't nothing to that effect. I don't think it was anything to that effect. But he did most definitely dominate Evander Holyfield in that fight. Like, dominated him. To the point where I'm like, how could anybody mistake this fight for a draw? A draw? There wasn't but 2 or 3 close rounds in the fight. In a whole 12-round bout, there wasn't but 2 or 3 close rounds. One round you can say, yeah, all right, Evander definitively won that round. Only one round you can do that with. No other round. He got his ass. He got his ass beat. He got his ass beat. Like, I'm sorry, bro, but you know, Evander is one of the greats, but he got dominated that fight. I don't see how anybody could say that was a draw. Any sensible human being would know, man, there was no reason for a rematch. There was no reason for it. He lost that fight clear as day. Lost pretty badly. But I just don't get it, man. I don't get how these judges, man, these you know, it's not just a thing in the now. They've been doing this shit for years. They've been, I keep saying it, man. You can go, people just, you know, people who are connoisseurs of the sport but don't participate in the sport, even when it comes to just training, is, you know, this rigorous torment in training for a fight. It's rigorous torment that you put your body through to make sure that you are in peak condition to perform on the night that you fight. Just for them to go in there, put it all on the line, and get robbed like that, man, that is unacceptable to me. That is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Shit like this, that's the reason Marvin Hagler said, fuck the sport, I'm out. I'm moving to Italy. It shouldn't be like that, man. It should not be like that. Lennox Lewis dominated Evander Holyfield. He's jabbing him to death. Jab, 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 lead right, jab, jab, jab. He had no answer for it. He dipped low, the uppercut is meeting him. He could not get into his chest comfortably. He could not get within that man's reach comfortably, man, and it showed. It showed. You know, Lennox, Evander just wasn't the fastest on his feet. At least by that time, he wasn't the fastest on his feet. Maybe you dig the Evander that fought Riddick or whatever was a little bit more explosive, possibly. You know, he had some success with the lead left. In the 3rd round, though. Like, it wasn't anything that was consistent throughout a 12-round bout. You dig? And Evander wasn't beat up or nothing like that. He ain't get up in there and get crashed in the sense of like his eye was swollen, but it's a boxing match, you know. Floyd didn't beat up Manny Pacquiao, but he just dominated him from a skill set standpoint. He completely outclassed him. That man left the fight like, yo, man, let's go to the club. He did. So I'm just saying, man, like, this shit is just, that was a terrible decision. Terrible. There was really nothing to even talk about. Like, Lennox from 1 to 3, or the first 2 rounds, it was same song and dance. 1-2s all day. Paw and probe with the jab, paw and probe with the jab, paw and probe with the jab. Then eventually throw the 2 off it. Evander had no answer for it. All right, cool, we're going to keep doing this. Evander would try to set traps on the rope, and it wouldn't work. Lewis would flash the uppercut, but not really throw it. He would never commit to it at a point in time. He's like, I see you playing possum, bro. He flashed the uppercut, or just go through the motions of throwing it without actually throwing it. And he'd step back, like, nah, you're not slick, homie. I see what you're trying to do, and I'm not falling for it. He was out thinking Holyfield in the ring, completely out thinking him. And he was just aggravated, man. He could, when you get punched in the face like that, you don't realize it, but that shit is taking wind out of you. Especially if you're trying to find a way around it. You can never time the shots. It's irritating. It's an irritant. You in there just getting beat up. Holyfield knows he lost that fight, and the judges know Holyfield lost that fight. My big ass forehead. That was bad, dude. That was bad. Some judges do not need to they just don't need to be judges, man. That was unacceptable. That's the long and the short of it, man. There's really even nothing else to talk about, man. Lennox dominated Holyfield, and whoever judged that fight, I hope they never judge the fight again after that fight, man. Peace.